Good morning. Good morning. Oh, Lord. Is there any other kind of morning? We got a morning. Oh! I know. A lot of you thinking, oh, another morning. We apparently aren't living your dream. Okay. With that answer. No. Two questions that change everything. Have you been living your dream? And have you been living it with all your might? And I think the answer for a lot of people is no, I haven't been living my dream. Well, that's the first big problem. Then whose dream you've been living? And stop it. Identify your problem. And fix it. Because if you lived the day with all your might but was in the wrong direction, the opposite the way you wanted to go, what progress did you make? None. Further from your goal. Stop it. As my grandfather would say, He's seen it all. At 12 years old, arriving from a foreign country to this North America with remember, maybe $2 or something. And 12. Don't know anyone. Can't speak the language. Can't speak English. So he's seen it all. The first year or two, he just worked for a cot to sleep on and food. No money. Pretty well. But you got to start somewhere. You're hungry, let's eat. Well, we got to do something to eat. So we'll go do whatever we need to do. But you know what? Sometimes we have to start out that way, but we don't have to finish that way. And he didn't. The end of his life, after being a farmer all his life and making very little, in today's dollars, gave $60,000 to 9 of his sons. A lot of sons. And left a house and a piece of land for his wife in the end of his life. And then she had all her pensions and everything. So he didn't come over here with much, but boy, he finished well. Anyway. So don't despise small beginnings. I mean, $2 arriving somewhere where you don't speak the language. Imagine arriving in Japan or China or something. You're a outcast right away because you don't speak the language. You got $2 and you're 12. Oh boy. That's some serious test of your intestinal fortitude, I'd say. And the nicest man, probably, if not the nicest, one of the nicest men on earth I've ever known. to come out with a kind heart through all that, what he went through. A lot of people don't. But he loved farming and he stuck to it. He got off track there for a little while. Had to work in a slaughterhouse, killing pigs for a little while, but got back on track and got a farm again, and that's what he wanted to do, and he did it right to the end. Whew. So what is your dream? What's mine? We're made as kings and priests. We're made in the image of God to discover our kingship, our priesthood. That's what we were made for, to figure that out. And to walk in it. Why do I want to walk in someone else's dream? If I'm on pursuit of my own, or I know my own dream, why would I do that? I mean, just because for money? No, I'm going to do it for love. My work, my life. I'm not going to do it for money. Working at what I don't want to do because it made more money. There's probably little difference on what you could do in this life and have an amazing life, because money doesn't buy a lot of the amazing things in this life. Look, I'm out walking in this beautiful town, Clearwater, Florida, and yes, it gets crazy hot, but a lot of beautiful days here. People save up all their life to come here. People spend 2, 3, 4 years to come here to Florida, to blow their wad for 2 weeks or a week or whatever. So this is not just an ordinary place, but I don't think anywhere is ordinary, because there's water, and beautiful water, and mountains, and streams, and trees, and beautiful blue sky everywhere. Or maybe you like Alaska, I don't know. But of all the things that we need to do in this life, I would say we need to live the life we were created for. Our mission, our purpose, rather than someone else's, no matter how wonderful someone else's mission is. Oh, I'm a missionary. Good. We need missionary. I'm not. Okay. Don't drag me there. Or whatever. I'm a whatever. I'm a doctor. Well, good for you. We need doctors. No, I don't like blood and gore, and I don't want to be around sick people, so that's not what I want to do. But hey, my father did it, my grandfather did it, and good for them. Not for me, not good for me, but good for them. So I'm not doing what they did. I'm not going to make a bunch of progress in the wrong direction. Okay. I'm looking for my place, where I fit in, where I can excel, where my billywhack is my my lane. What is your lane? Well, if you hate what you're doing, you know you're not in the right lane. Let's start with that. We need to. What do you like in this life? I love the great outdoors. I love fishing. Well, let's make money with that. Can you make money with that? Yes. I'll show you on people online that are making tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars something a year. So, yeah. You can do it. They did it. You can do it. And a lot of them aren't even living their life necessarily. Just happen to be what they fell into. And they're just what I call a hireling. They're just doing it because it makes money. They'd quit and do something else if something better came along. But you're not that. You're a shepherd. You're a shepherd for this field. Because you love fishing. And you're one of them. So you're going to do incredibly well with that group. Other people are doing well with it, and they're not even fishermen. But you are. And so you have the secret sauce they will never have. Because you're in your lane, you're in your dream, and they're not. But if they can make a couple of $100,000 a year and they're not even in their lane, what could you do with it? Now maybe they're smarter in some ways than you, but they're not shepherds. You are. You're going into something. You're one of them. You're one of the fishermen. You're not just teaching fishing or selling courses on fishing or selling hooks that catch fish. You're using the hooks. You're developing the hooks. You're the fisherman. You're the actual real McCoy. You're the fisherman deluxe. Why would I want to follow someone that just reads about fishing, doesn't even fish themselves? What kind of thing is that? Anyway, it brings me to a fishing story. I thought, well, you know what? It says if you buy old forms and where there's a lot of people, they've never monetized that form. So there's a fishing one that I looked up. It gets 100, 200,000 people a year going to there, and emailed the owner and said, look, I'm interested in buying your place, and I'm willing to pay $5,000. And I said, let's do a Zoom call. I said, I'm over in the Ukraine and I don't speak English well and blah, blah, whatever. Let's just do it by email. So he said, how do I know I'm going to get paid if I transfer everything over to you? And he was worried about that. And so I made some statements and I said, okay, let's go further. Then I didn't do anything for a month. Then I sent him a message and suddenly he's not answering. Because I think he sold it to someone else. I got him stirred up to sell. And because suddenly there's a bunch of ads there that I don't think were there before. So my $5,000 offer probably was, I was getting the deal of a lifetime. But I'm out there always testing things, so I find things. Now, is that the only one? No. How many other fields? I mean, imagine a knitting field. I'm not into knitting, but let's hear me out. Someone that has a huge following, they do it just for a hobby. They don't have any ads, or they very little monetizing, so it doesn't even carry itself. They're paying more to have the thing than it costs than they make. And you come along. He's got 100,000 emails, addresses, and offer them 5,000. Now, if you look at it further and closer, realize, wow, this is a steal. If I can get this for 5,000, and keep in mind they've been doing this for years, then your approach is going to be right. Look, I want you to keep writing. I'm going to pay you $100 an hour for all the extra things you're going to do for me. I'm going to give you $5,000 for the business, and I want you to be available for a few hours a month to consult and help me. Now this person's thinking, I can still do my thing I like, writing, get 5,000 and then another $100 an hour. No. To most people, if they need the money or whatever, my Ukraine friend, I believe, did need the money. Yeah. That was a heck of a deal. And that fishing one, and what about this knitting one? Well, if it's what it looks like and you want to verify, yeah, they really do have 100,000 emails and whatever, and you know that 5,000, like just buying the email list would be way more than that. So you've got these people that are true followers who've been following this knitter for years. You're going to keep her on, or him on, whatever, to be a consultant, so they're going to know it never even passed hands, and now you're going to monetize this thing. And now you're going to start adding a bunch of products that you can sell and make money on through this 100,000 list. I mean, come on. Now, is that knitter going to fall for, well, I shouldn't say fall for this. They weren't making money anyway. Is that knitter going to say, this is better than the way I've been doing it? Let's go. Send me the 5. How hard is that? One guru, of course I got to be careful of gurus because they might want to mislead you and not tell you where the real gravy is, where the real big time opportunities are. But according anyway to this guru, that one of their favorite things is newsletters, because you can buy them so cheap and you can monetize them so easily. So now just imagine you get someone that has an email list of 100,000 again. I mean, that's a lot. Let's say 10,000. 10,000 emails. And they're talking about raising chickens. I'm just making up stuff here, okay? But they don't make any money with their website. They barely get by. It actually costs them. You're back in the same situation. And you come along and say, you know what? I want you to keep writing. I want you to sell that thing to me for $1,000 or 5,000, whatever you predetermine the value that you're going to get a great deal. But even they say, well, you say 1,000, and they say, well, 2,000. All right, okay, and I want to pay you $100 an hour to keep writing your newsletters, and we're going to monetize this thing. We're going to start adding products. Here's where you can buy the best chicken coops. Here's where you can buy the best chickens. Here's the whatever. Here's the best place you can buy chicks. And now the newsletter that made nothing now makes 100,000 a year. So your 1,000 or 5,000 or whatever is well spent. So she seems to think that's a great way to go. But I think the first thing in that whole thing probably is hopefully you know something about chickens. I don't. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've raised chickens on the farm. I've fed chickens. I've had the wild animals go after our chickens and all that. But I was just a kid, and I left that at 16 years old. But for years, yeah, I did have something to do with chickens. So I have some idea what a chicken coop is, and eggs and everything else, and how to, chop their head off and cook them up, and how to defeather them after that, and all the rest of it. Yeah. Well, I'm not an expert, but then again, I probably know more than most in the world, but not those that are buying chickens every day. I don't know. I guess if they're brand new, I might know more than a lot of them in that case, but if they have... I can get up to speed in chickens quickly, but that's not really what I want to do. All the diseases chickens have, here's products you need, whatever. The latest science of raising chickens. How to get them to lay the most eggs and whatever. But I remember many mornings going in there to the chicken coop and coming out with a dozen, 24 eggs. A pile. And have to fight some of the chickens to get the eggs. I didn't want to give their eggs up, some of them. They're going to peck you. And when you're fighting with them, sometimes they stomp out and break the egg, so there goes that egg. So you got to be careful how you do this. Oh, man. Then there's the rooster, and I've been chased by them. I remember being 8 and 9 and getting chased by a rooster. Boy, he's gonna tear you apart. Fearless they are. You leave my chickens alone. Anyway, I digress. Is that the word? Anyway. Here's the great part. There's probably a newsletter that you can buy in a field you do know something about and you love it. And that's where to look. Let's go after something, we already love doing. I love chickens, great. And I know a whole bunch about chickens, let's say. Let's go after newsletters that are in that field that aren't making any money but have thousands of emails of people who read their newsletter. And let's go make a deal. By the way, you could make the deal a little differently. So let's say it was 5,000 you're going to give them. Say, look, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 2,000, and then 1,000 every 6 months till we get to the 5,000, plus $100 an hour for writing articles. But before I even tell you that, I'm going to have you tell me that you don't realize you're revealing knowledge you shouldn't have. How long does it normally take you to write a newsletter? Oh, I can write one of those up in 5 minutes. Alrighty then. So, you don't have to do any research? No, because of all my experience, I can write newsletters all day long. So, in half an hour I can have it all checked out, make sure there's no spelling errors, and off it goes. So I got half hour work. Well, I'm sure I'm going to pay you $100 an hour. So let's see, it takes you half hour normally. I'll pay you $50 for each article you do. And if you do one of those a week, that's $200 a month. Plus the $1,000 I'm going to pay you. Remember, because I'm doing a delayed payment thing, I'm giving you $3,000 now or $2,000 now, and $1,000 every 6 months until it's paid off. So they still got some skin in the game. That's the big thing here. Because if they see you start making money and they become jealous, which is a really bad thing, then they may fail you. But if they've got skin in the game, they're going to play. They're going to play nicely, most likely. Some of them will cut their nose off in spite of their face, but they're probably going to play nicely with you. So maybe you even want to do it this way. Yeah, I'll give you the 5,000 you wanted. But here's how we're going to do it. We can do it over 5 years. I'm going to give you a percentage of everything that comes in. All right? So that's going to be part of your earnings. I'm going to guarantee you a minimum of X, that no matter what I bring in, I will give you X amount per month as a commission or whatever, as a override, because you're writing my newsletters, whatever, and I'll guarantee you $500 a month to you. Now you've already figured out you can get this website and make $10,000 a month, so you're not too worried about $500 a month. And you can tell them if it drops below $500 a month, then you get the whole thing back. And I don't want it anyway. If it won't make enough money where you can't even make $500 and I can't make $500, then I don't want it. You have it. Or something like that. Whatever. Or it's the transition period that you got to cover, because people, as they see there's a new owner, you don't really want them to see that the guy's still writing for you and whatever. But eventually he's going to not be with you anymore. So you might want to just a 2-year period of a guarantee you're going to give him. You're going to give him whatever, 5,000 plus minimum $500 a month for 2 years. But he has to write your letters and so on. But you can make a lot more than that if you make more than that. And you think, well, I wasn't making anything with it, so if you can make this work. Now, this is what people say when they hear about a situation. They'll agree to anything. What? I'm making nothing. This thing's been costing me. And you're going to give me $5,500 a month? Minimum. But then when the money starts rolling in, then they have a whole new tune, which I found with many people I promoted. Lawyers and everyone else. 501Cs, and here we agreed to 20% or whatever, and then suddenly there's so much money that they don't like what they agreed to. All organizations have done that to me, unfortunately. That's why you want to own your own thing so you don't run into that. And anyway, back to this. The guy, if he sees the kind of money you're making, might not like it, might sabotage it, might do something, I don't know. So, I guess it's better that you don't give him a percentage. You just say, as long as you keep writing my letters, you do write one every week, I'll give you the $500 a month, but that has to be up to the quality of your past letters. Alright? We already know you can write one up in half an hour with everything. So, you can start writing 2 letters a week. So I'm going to have 8 letters, and I'm paying you $500. You're getting more than $50 an hour, or more than $100 an hour. I mean, and this is how we're going to do it. All right. Now, if your newsletters go down the tubes and suddenly no one wants them because you're not putting any effort into these newsletters, then you don't get it anymore. So if we start losing half the people, something's wrong. And it's you. We've diagnosed it's you. So then the deal's off. I continue with it. I get a new writer, and you no longer get your $500 a month. So, again, you're giving them a fair deal on that. They weren't making any money anyway, and now they got $5,000 plus $500 a month they didn't have, and they still get to write the stuff they wanted to write. So it's a good deal all around. And if you can't get that deal, then you don't want it. If he wants $2,000 a month, hey, there's not enough money here for that. Sorry, we're not doing it. Here's my structure. Here's my offer. Boom, boom, boom. Give them initial offer. Then when they say they want more, add the other end of the plan, the $500 a month you didn't tell them about. So you just told them about the $5,000 up front. You didn't tell them about the other part because you held it back. You may never have to give it, but you held it back, and you can offer that if the negotiations start. But when I offered that $5,000 to that guy, he didn't negotiate. He just said, yeah, I think I'd do that. As long as I know I get my money and, wouldn't transfer everything over to you and then lose everything. That was the only thing he was concerned with. And now someone else is taking over, it looks like. Suddenly he's got a whole bunch of ads he didn't have. Well, who was that? Probably the new guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but it looked like that way when I looked at it. And suddenly his website looks different. Huh. But let's go after if we're going to do the newsletters, let's go after the newsletter in a field you know something about and you love, and you can stick it out. And you're actually going to have fun doing it. That not it's just another job, but it's actually, a much more than a job. It's your bread and butter for your heart and mind and soul. I mean, you love newsletters. about chickens or whatever it is. And you love chickens, and you keep reading more and more about chickens, and you're figuring out articles yourself, because it's right up your alley, because you're a chicken lover. You love eating them, you love writing about them. You love them as pets. But you're in your element. That's the big thing, is walking in your element, not someone else's. I'm going in the opposite direction, writing about fishing, and I hate fishing. How good an article are you going to write? You'll never write a good article. Not like the fisherman himself. So be the product. Look for you. We're going to find a business that's you. You look at it and say, well, that's me. That's who I am right there. I love chickens. I love writing about chickens. I love eating chickens. I love pet chickens. I'm a chicken lover. Oh boy. Really? No, I love eating chickens, and I've had chickens for a pet. But I don't know if I want to be the expert in chickens, though they were a lot of fun. I love birds. Birds are something incredible about birds. There's something. Who knows? Maybe I could do the chicken thing. At least try it. At least I already have an affinity for something to try, whereas I got no affinity for that. They're selling timeshare. I bought timeshare. I get burnt. It's the worst investment you could do. And I gotta sell this stuff. Jeez. Oh, good luck. Now it brings me to an unfortunate story. When timesharing first came out, it really glittered like gold. I bought like 2 or 3 different timeshares, and I was making 50,000. Not 50,000. About 50,000 a year, just going in evenings to help out the timeshare guys, because I could sell the stuff like crazy because I owned it and I loved it. Later found out it sucked, but at the time, when I get excited about something, I can really do well with it. And you can do the same. Maybe you can't do the sales part, but man, you can write about it, or you can do something about it no one else can, because it's right up your alley, it's right up your bailiwick. You're thinking, this is incredible. Wow, I can do this all day with my right hand tied behind my back, and I'm a right-handed writer, but I'll start learning how to write with the left hand. I know, there's voice programs. I'm just trying to make a point. You're getting caught up in the weeds here. You're getting caught up in the details. Well, how's that possible? How's this possible? Could you get the principle, please? Stop going on and on about the unessentials right now. We can figure that out later. All right? Well, I want to make sure. Yeah, that's the problem. We sometimes make sure about so many details that we never get anything done. Yeah, well, what about that? What about this? And 2 years later, you still haven't done anything. And you finally work out the details. The whole thing has moved on. Like some of the businesses I did. Photography, developing film, making 1,000 a day. And loving it. And then what happened? Those stupid digital cameras came out. Then the phones with the cameras came out. That was so much for that business. But hey, for 6 or 7 years that I did it, I made a fortune. But things change. So you got to be ready to either change or move on. Not like Kodak, we're not taking digital. Here's the rights for digital cameras. We want to be in partnership with you. Get out of my office. We're not going digital. People will always develop film. Good luck with that. And now, I can't remember, I think it was Polaroid, went down to big bankruptcy level to like worth nothing. You know, someone bought their name for $5,000 or something. And they had 70% or whatever of all the market. in the US. In today's dollar, billion-dollar business. And then they sell, so at the end they get 5,000. What happened? Well, they didn't change. They refused to change. Now, I didn't refuse. I figured, okay, we're not doing develop a film anymore. And they went in and got something that was even more prosperous. Maybe not initially, but eventually. So you got to know when to move on and change. But let's make hay while we can. So for 6 years, I made hay. I'm serious. I made some serious dough. I look at the houses I lived in back then, and they're selling for $3 and $4 million that we paid for cash. Yeah, well, it wasn't 3 or 4 million when we bought them, but today they are. So, my $500,000 house that I paid cash for is now worth $4 million. In 30 years or whatever. That's not bad. Not bad increase. Excuse me. Oh. Hopefully you get my drift. You don't get a snow drift out of it. What's he talking about? Where'd he go? I can't see. Follow me and you'll learn more. Okay. Follow me and I'll like to talk to you personally to figure out what you know and what you could do. But just to say, newsletters is probably fantastic field in this pick on something you already know something about, so that you can stick it out when it's skinny. You say, wow, I love this so much, I'll do it for a little bit of money because I know there's big money coming up. But if you're just a hireling and you're doing something you didn't want to do anyway, then the first sign of rain, you want to bail out. And the bank won't help you because the first sign of rain, they want the umbrella back. So they're not going to help you now that you need help. But boy, are they there to help you when you don't need it. That just happened the other day. Here, Ken, you can take all the money you want here at 4%. Do whatever you want with it. We don't even care what you do with it. Or a while ago, no, we don't have any money for you, Ken. But now you don't need it. We got it. Oh boy. Say, what happened there? Well, I can still take advantage of it if I can figure out how to take a 4% loan and turn it into a profit where I'm making 30% or 50% or 100%. Yeah. Of course, there's risk. But if I'm already doing something that's working and I want to put more money, more advertising, whatever, well, I got the money. But they weren't going to give it to you when you needed it. So if you're waiting and expecting the banks or anyone else to give you help when you need it, good luck. They're going to give you the money when you're prosperous. Now you don't need it. Now they got money, flush money for you. Come in and get some. What happened? Well, we don't take risks. But now that you're making money, we're not taking one, or very little. So now we know we got you. If you don't produce, we got you. By the you know what. Goodness. Sorry. It's true. Yeah, we're not going to help you till you don't need help, so don't be looking at them. Get the thing going. Figure out how to make something work. Make a deal with one of these people that have a newsletter and they're not making any money anyway. Maybe they'll, without any money down, they'll do some 50-50 split or something. Say, look, if I don't, you're making zero right now, or you're losing $500 a month because you're paying for all these fees. Because you've got this website and it's costing you $500 a month just to do it, so you're losing $500. Let's do a 50-50 deal. I have some plans that I believe will make you at least $5,000 a month, or $3,000 a month, or $2,000 a month. It's better than minus 500. Okay, so you're going to make $2,000 a month minimum. I'm going to make $2,000 a month minimum. We're doing a 50-50 split. And if we drop below $2,000 a month, I don't want to do it anymore, and you can have it. Okay, so, or whatever. And now, any person in their right mind, they've been running this thing for years, paying $500 a month, unless they've got unlimited money somewhere, they're going to think, well, I could use a little bit extra cash right now, and I'm still going to own half of it, and I don't know. And Ken's willing to guarantee that he'll pay the $500 a month as long as he stays with me. So now I don't have any monthly cost because I'm getting his $500. He's going to give me the $500 up front, and then we're going to split everything. Whatever. Now maybe Ken wants, as the new money comes in, his $500 back first. Whatever. But don't worry about that. But there's something that's working. It's working. It's working. Yeah. Really. So that's what we have to do. We have to find that business, that place, that hobby, that pastime we love, whatever it is. I don't care if you read novels. It doesn't matter to me. All right, 1 second here. I got a text. Let's see what it is. Maybe it's more money, I hope. Okay. Uh-huh. All right, well, I got an appointment here we need to go to, and we're going to do that right after this one more round. One more time, Ken, one more time. I'm going to go around this building, finish off what I have to say this morning, and hopefully I'll come up with some good stuff. I think back to the beginning, 2 questions. Am I living and working on my dream? And if I am, have I been doing it with all my might? Most people, it's a no to both those. So, first of all, you got to find that place, that thing. So you got that wrapped up, and now you're doing your thing. Did I do it with all my might? And then when I lay my head down at night, I sleep like a baby. Because I couldn't do anymore. I did all I could. And I just leave it down in God's hands. Now if God likes what I'm doing, and He sees I'm doing my dream, and He likes my dream, and He knows I did it with all my might, He might add a little bit to it, like a bunch. Okay? I say, okay, Ken's been doing it. I'm going to give him this idea and that idea that will set him up for life. Or whatever. But when you put your head down at night, you did what you loved, and you did it with all your might. In every category. Witnessing to others, I don't care, whatever it is. Witnessing about God, witnessing about business, witnessing, being the best steward of what you know you could be. Now you lay your head down. And what a great rest now you'll have. Because you did all you could in the field you were meant for. That's the way I want to end my life. And hopefully that's the way you want to end yours. Anyway. That's the way I want to live my life. Now, if I haven't been living it, I can't do anything about what I did do, but I can do something about what I'm doing. So Today, can I start in the morning saying, I'm going to work on my dream and my dream only, and I'm going to do it with all my might. And then when you go to bed at night, you can ask that question, were you working on your dream all day? Yep. Did you do it with all your might? Yep. What a sleep you'll have. Resting in your good work. I'm not just talking about any business. I'm not talking about something you love that helps the world. Not something you love and hurts the world. I mean, you do have to have some discernment here, some outline. Really. Anyway. But let's live our life, not someone else's. Oh, I made a lot of progress today in the wrong direction. Well, what good is that? I undid a lot of people's dreams and I got their money now. Well, how did that help the world? It didn't. You thief? Oh, boy. So stop it. Stop it. Anyway. I know. I've done the wrong thing. At times even when it was a good thing. But it wasn't my thing. So you got to remember that. Just because something's good, it's not your thing. You don't have enough time in this life to do all the good things. There's way too many good things to do. But figure out what you love to do and go do that. Not someone else's idea of what you should do. Not someone else's dream. You know, I dream for you, Ken, that you'd be a great janitor. Well, I have done some janitor work, but I don't want to be a janitor. Okay. It mostly entails night work, and I don't want night work. And I hate vacuums and whatever. So I wouldn't be a good vacuum cleaner salesman, which I tried to be at 17. Selling vacuum cleaners. Oh boy, what a job. But I hated vacuum cleaners. I hated dirt. So I don't want to go in your house and suck up your dirt, okay? I want to go in your house and sell you something else that I love. Not that. Might get you a nice set of encyclopedias. Anyway, to each their own. I think that's the bottom line. To each their own. Are you doing your own? Or are you doing someone else's own? But like, it does make me laugh. Get into all these crazy things that weren't for us, and we wonder what happened. Well, you're into something you shouldn't have been into. But you don't recognize it right away. Some people for years don't recognize it, and then finally realize when they hear what I'm saying, I gotta get out of here. This is killing me. And things, if you're doing what you shouldn't be doing, it is killing you. Because every day you're getting up doing something you didn't want to do, with people you didn't want to work with, going to places you didn't want to go, and staying longer than you wanted to stay. It's a whole, it's a whole don't do it scenario. Oh boy. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Anyway, it's been fun. And hopefully you've learned something. I know I have. I really wept over this whole thing this morning. This whole living someone else's life and wondering what happened. You don't have to wonder anymore. You were living someone else's life. Okay, I'm helping you here. And now you got to change that. So now joy will come into your life. And that's what I teach, and I'll help you personally do it. How to figure out how to do this thing. Anyway. I guess that's it for this amazing day. because I got one. I got a day. I got another day. Some didn't get another day today. And who knows who has another day tomorrow. I don't care how healthy you are. Health really doesn't care when you run into a bus. Bus wins, you lose. Don't count on your own strength. God's not impressed with how strong your legs are. Okay? He's not impressed with horses. He's impressed with people who follow him. That's who he's impressed with. But impress who you want. It's your life, your choice. All right, I guess that's it.